All right, welcome back. It is Noah and Matt at Beanie Bro Sports. We're back on this fine Monday, heading into the last month of the season. We're August 30th, counting down to the postseason. Still got a lot of close races, but Matt, let's go over the injury board right now. We got news from the Angels. Mike Trout could miss the rest of the season now. Shohei Ohtani is going to not pitch in New York. He's hurt. JT Realmuto is hurt for the Phillies. What's going on with all these injuries, Matt, and how does this affect these teams down the stretch? Obviously, the Angels aren't really in it, but the Phillies missing Real Muto for even a few days really hurts. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a pretty big blow for the Phillies here. I know they it seemed like they were in first in the NL East for just a minute, like a cup of tea or whatever. Then they experienced it, and they seems like they lost that lead just as quick as they had it. But yeah, that's going to hurt them because I mean, although they do have Bryce Harper and they have some other offensive guys, like Ramuto is one of their middle of the order bats, and he is probably the best catcher in the league. Or maybe you can make a case for Salvador Perez with the year he's having, actually. But like, I mean, he's got a good bat, and he is one of the best defensive catchers in the league as well as being one of the best offensively. So that's definitely a big blow for the team. And I mean, I don't know how I haven't really looked at his injury, but is it something that he could miss several weeks for? Is it like day to day? What is like kind of what are they reporting?
Yeah, right now it's day to day. Actually, Bryce Harper said he was gonna he offered to play catcher, which I think would be pretty
Wow.
cool, but I don't think they'll let him. But yeah, right now it seems day
Yeah.
to day. But I mean, 1 month left of the season, day to day. Still, when they're 4.5 back from the Braves, could be 4 games back. They're 3.5 actually after tonight. Phillies are beating the Nationals, I think 7-4 last time I checked, and Braves are facing the Dodgers tonight. So definitely a day the Phillies can make up another game of the division, but missing JT Realmuto down the stretch, every day's gonna hurt.
No, it definitely doesn't help missing one of your middle of the order at bats when you're trying to make up a lead on a team that's arguably been one of the hottest teams in baseball. So,
Yeah.
and with that team again, as we were kind of discussing for the live stream, they actually just recently welcomed a player off the IL and Ian Anderson. So it's the Braves. I mean, the Braves along with Travis d'Arnaud returning. I mean, about a month ago or maybe a little longer than that ago, and now they have one of their best starting pitchers, if not the best starting pitcher, helping them down the stretch. Just, they're getting healthier and healthier after kind of having some bad luck with Mike Soroka and Ronald Acuna Jr. this year. So definitely doesn't help when the Phillies are getting less healthy and the team they're chasing is just getting more and more healthy. So,
But what a return for Ian Anderson. Hadn't pitched since July 11th. Goes up against the best team in baseball, San Francisco Giants. It was 5.2 innings, 0 earned runs, 4 hits, 2 walks, dominant. And the Braves needed it. I mean, coming down the stretch here, getting Ian
yeah, and
Anderson
they
back
needed it.
after, yeah.
Yep. And the big thing with them, if the Braves are able to hold this momentum going into the playoffs, securing a spot in the playoffs, which at this point, I mean, unless the Phillies go on a bit of a run, because they do have a bit of a gap to make up, even with a game they could potentially making the game up today. Ian Anderson's a guy, even though it's only his second year pitching, and I believe he still has rookie eligibility, or I'm not really too sure. But anyways, he did have some decent postseason, success last year. I mean, I think he didn't allow any earned runs in his first 2 career playoff starts, and he did pitch pretty well against the Dodgers in the NLCS. So you're talking about a guy who, although he's only like 23 years old, already has a bunch of experience in pitching in big games. So getting a name like that back is definitely a boost to that starting rotation.
Definitely. And let's stick with the Braves here. New NL MVP candidate. He's had another great stretch as of late. Austin Riley, he's hitting 303 on the year. He has 80 RBIs now. He scored 73 runs, 28 home runs. I mean, he could win it.
Yeah, no, I didn't even know his numbers were that good until you just brought them up now. But I know he was having a really good year to start the year. I believe I didn't honestly expect, especially from the average standpoint, for him to kind of maintain this level. Obviously, we knew he had the power especially because he did hit 18 home runs in only 80 games in his rookie year, and that was good for a 471 slugging. So we knew the power was there. It's just, yeah, the average, I'm pretty surprised at the fact that he's hitting above 300, considering his first 2 years, he had averages of 226 and 239. But hey, props to him for proving me wrong. And yeah, I would say based on those numbers and his consistency across all offensive categories, yeah, in a wide open NL MVP race like it has been this year, I mean, in part due to injuries to, an injury to Jacob deGrom, who probably was going to run away with it. He definitely has made a strong case for himself for the NL MVP this year.
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about Freddie Freeman's had a great stretch in Atlanta of late, and he's honestly he's one of the biggest reasons the Braves are up there. But Austin Riley is the reason they've been close in the division all year. He's been the most consistent hitter in that lineup. He had a great start to the year. He really hasn't slowed down. He's just continued to be dominant. And the Braves really owe it to Austin Riley, because there's no way they would be in this position if not for what he did in the first half of the season.
Yeah, for sure. Because like you said, Freddie Freeman, who, we knew based on his experience, his pedigree, he was going to pick it up. And all the peripherals said he was one of the most unlucky players in baseball to start this year. So we knew he was going to pick it up, and he has here. But, Austin Riley kind of bridged that gap, because he was, when Freddie Freeman was struggling, even Ozzie Albies, and after Ronald Acuna's really strong stretch, he kind of was struggling. Austin Riley's kind of, bridged that gap, been probably one of their most, if not their most consistent hitter in their lineup all year round. And it's been even, his role has been that much more important with the injury to Acuna Jr. right now, because he's putting up numbers. I mean, not from a stolen base standpoint, but he's putting up some numbers that are respectable to kind of in comparison to Ronald Acuna Jr. with his 28 home runs, 80 RBIs, and is pretty good on base at 376 and OPS over 900. So he is definitely a force to be reckoned with, and has provided more length in a Braves lineup that, you thought would have taken a bigger hit with Ronald Acuna gone. But yeah, Austin Riley has definitely proved me wrong with his ability to be, a much better all-around hitter than I originally projected him to be.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a guy who hit 226 in 2019 and 239 in the shortened season last year, but he's also never had a full season. This is his first full season.
No, that is true.
He's played as 80 in 2019.
Yeah.
And the Braves have got to be happy about how their infield looks going forward. I mean, Freddie Freeman, Austin Riley, Ozzie Albies, Dansby Swanson. You're pretty set.
They are pretty set. And again, the starting rotation, they got some young guys there too. And it's just, yeah, they should be forced to be reckoned with in the NL East for years to come. So,
I mean, we're talking about a team that's likely going to win the NL East, and they are missing their number one position player, Ronald Acuna Jr., who's arguably the best hitter in the league. And they're also missing their ace. Mike Soroka's missed the entire year. And to think about those two guys being added to that team next year, insane.
Yeah, it is insane to say the least. So, yeah, it didn't start off well being a Braves fan this year, but hey, it's been pretty good the last month. That's to say the least.
Yeah, and you know what they say about the NL East? You just got to stay close enough so that when the teams at the top start to choke, you can just get right back up there. And that's what the Braves did. They were staying close all year. The Mets and Phillies couldn't take advantage of the Braves' struggles, and they stayed close. And Mets and Phillies have started to struggle, and now the Braves have a fairly good lead in the division right now. I mean, even after tonight, if they lose, it'll be 3.5 games, which with a month to play is still quite significant.
Yep, exactly. They could win the division without winning 90 games this year. So the beauty of the NL East.
Yeah.
No.
All right. And then talking about players who were hot, Salvador Perez, you just mentioned him. He's hit 6 home runs in the last week, 14 RBIs. 14 RBIs in the last week. I bet you that's more RBIs than the Mets have gotten in the last week. I bet you it's more RBIs than many teams have gotten in the last week.
Yeah, I mean, you might even be able to honestly add the Jays the last week too. They have not been hitting that well, but Man, Salvador Perez just continuing this power surge this year. That's for sure. Like, I know in the shortened season, it was only 37 games, but that his play last year might have kind of foreshadowed what was to come this season because he did have a 633 slugging last year and 11 home runs and 12 doubles, albeit in only 37 games. But I mean, hey, it probably was just a sign of him changing his game plan. Although there is a bit more swing and miss per se in his game, but I mean he's trading it for launching the ball more and being a much more feared hitter at the plate. He's just been incredible this year so far. And
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get that with a power hitter, but you'll take it, especially from the catching position. That many home runs, that many RBIs. I'll take
yeah,
that any day.
and playing half your games at Kauffman Stadium, which is one of the worst hitters ballparks in the league. So,
Yeah,
so yeah,
like his numbers, like his statistics are actually insane this year. Like he's in the top 6% of the league in average exit velocity, hard hit percentage, expected slugging percentage, barrel percentage. He's in the 92nd percentile. Like he's had a ridiculous year, but it's definitely not lucky. Like he's hitting the ball well, he's seeing it, and he's just added so much power to his game.
yeah, he really has. And at like the age of 31, it's crazy to see a guy kind of have just a completely different approach at the plate and to great success too. So I've always
That
liked
surprises me.
great player. Glad to see he's having success on a Royals team that maybe isn't as strong as previous versions of it that he's been on.
Yeah, how is he only 31? It seems like he's been around forever.
Yeah, he just came to the league at like 21 years old and I mean, he was more so known for his gold glove defense early on. And although being, still a above average of offensive catcher, I would say, but man, now although he's still playing pretty good defense, it's just his bat is just exploded. So
Yeah. He's actually not really playing great defense.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure about defense. His framing is like amongst the worst in baseball.
No, fair enough.
Which I didn't know about him. I'm just kind of looking at his statistics right now, but he's in the 12th percentile.
Oh, well, there you go.
So not great. But I mean, he has been known as a good defender, so it's clearly just the framing, but
yeah, he does have a pretty good arm. I think that's the big thing. But
definitely. Yeah. All right. Well, more news around baseball. Mets Marlins setting a record tomorrow. They're going to finish that suspended game from 142 days ago, which will be a record game taking 142 days to be played. So that's pretty crazy. I mean, we're talking about half the team the Marlins had for that game won't even be there.
Yeah, I didn't even know about that until you just brought it up before us going on.
Is Corey Dickerson playing right now for the Jays?
Yeah, he is.
So if he gets a hit tomorrow, he'll have a hit for two teams in the same day.
Oh my gosh, Corey Dickerson, you better. Yeah. He has been kind of hot, so let's hope that happens.
Yeah, because he had a hit in that game for the Marlins. That was the game that Marcus Stroman went out for an out, and he was mad that they even played the game in the rain. Surprising that was 142 days ago. But yeah, that's pretty wild. The longest time it will take to play a suspended game. And how about the Mets with this whole thumbs down thing? I guess their players are getting fed up with all the boos, so they've decided they're going to give the fans the thumbs down every time they do something good. What do you think about that, Matt?
Well, first of all, I just want to say, I mean, the Mets, I mean, especially like a guy like Lindor, when you're paying him all that money and he hasn't produced, the fans have every right to kind of voice their displeasure. And I mean, the players kind of have every right to kind of do the same thing. It's not like they're, sticking the middle finger up at the fans or anything like that. Like that's kind of maybe a bit more disrespectful, but kind of doing the thumbs down thing. I mean, I don't know if it's something that the club rallies around and stuff, and it actually helps them to play better. Hey, so be it. If it works, and if it isn't really toxic, like sticking the middle finger up or like swearing at fans or anything like that. I mean, I've got no problem with it. And I think both sides are like, they have the right to voice their opinion on the Mets struggles and maybe the fans' frustration.
Yeah, and we got Justin joining us from Pickering, Ontario. Justin, do you have anything to add to that?
I think both sides of the situation are stupid, if I'm being honest. Like, if you're looking at it from the player perspective, it's like, yes, obviously, like you're annoyed that the fans like are booing you rather than supporting you. Yes, it's frustrating, but fans are the ones that like they're the reason that you're able to earn the salaries you earn.
Yep.
From that perspective, it's like, come on, like you kind of have to own up to it. It's kind of expected as part of the job. But on the other side of it, it's like fans, like having been at the ballpark, it's like fans say anything, and it's like some of the stuff they say, it's like, come on, dude. So it's like at the same time, players like they're not emotionless robots. They're people too with real emotions.
Yeah.
Like they don't have to just sit there and take it.
Oh, fair enough.
So if they're gonna dish it back, it's like if you're gonna dish it, expect to take it back. That's how I see it. So it's like if the Mets players feel that like they're being treated completely unfairly, and this is how they choose to voice it, and it's like maybe that should be also a wake up call to Mets fans that maybe you can still voice your displeasure, but maybe find other ways.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing that like I was like, why is this even a news story?
Yeah.
And then to have like Sandy Alderson and Steve Cohen like publicly like talk bad on the players. It's like, why are we dragging this out? Why are we even talking about this?
Because it's New York. It's a mecca of media coverage. So it's everything is a news story, regardless of how meaningless and stupid and inconsequential it is.
Yeah. But to have like the president of baseball operations as well as the owner going against the players publicly,
I think
it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think that's where the biggest issue is, because it's like you can, as the president and the owner, you're obviously going to want to side with your fans, but maybe you put it more diplomatically than just bashing your players. Basically, it's that we understand why fans would be upset about this. We understand why our players are frustrated. It's been a trying season. We're going to have a meeting and address this, and maybe find more positive ways to express our frustrations. Like that's a statement that you could put out, and it's like, what's that? Like maybe the New York media can twist that in some way or another because it's New York. But it's that's a much more diplomatic statement than, oh yeah, the players are in the wrong here. It's like what message does that send?
Oh, 100%. It makes absolutely no sense to me why. And even like the Mets owner is literally just like does not care about the players at all. Like on August 18th, he tweeted, "It's hard to understand how professional hitters can be this unproductive.
Yeah.
The best teams have a more disciplined approach. The slugging and OPS numbers don't lie." Like, why are you even doing this? Like, just get off of social media.
Like, here's the thing. It's like, because based on the Mets, like the profile of the Mets players, he's not wrong. But like,
he's not wrong at all.
But as the owner, you say that privately. You don't express that publicly on Twitter.
Yeah, like this is something a fan says. This is something the owner says.
Well, throwback to when Cohen bought the team, and everyone was saying, "Oh, the Mets are going to be legitimate now. Like the Wilpons are gone. We're not going to be a meme anymore." And then August happened, and the Lowell Mets came roaring back with a thunderous ovation.
Hey, on the bright side, our manager hasn't thrown a chair yet this year.
Yeah.
So let's be proud about the Mets with that one. No chairs have been thrown.
For that, give it a little golf clap.
Yeah.
All right. Since we're talking about New York, I don't know if you guys have talked about it, but how about them Yankees?
They are on fire, and I absolutely hate to say it, but how about the Rays, though, really? Because we were just talking about this earlier, Justin, me and Matt, before we went live. The Yankees have won 8 of their last 10 and have lost a game in the division.
Because the Rays have taken advantage of playing Baltimore. The Rays this season, because I was watching the Jays game, and they said this. The Rays finished their season series with Baltimore. They went 18-1. Like the Rays are not the Rays. The Orioles are a bad team, and we all know that. But you won 1 out of 19 games against a division opponent. Like, come on, man. That's like not even the Pirates are that bad.
It's pretty bad.
That's pathetic.
The Orioles suck.
Remember, the Orioles were like hovering around 500 for all of April too. So it's like, what the fuck happened?
But I mean, they're going to win that first overall draft pick. Actually, no, they're probably going to find a way to mess that up.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Diamondbacks are going to get the number 1 overall pick.
If you're the Orioles, there's 3 positive takeaways from this season. You have Cedric Mullins turning into a key piece of your core moving forward, finally figuring it out at the big league level. You have Ryan Mountcastle building on his cup of coffee last year and proving that he is a good building block as well. I guess 4 things. You have your farm system, which is getting stronger, and you have Rushman, who's the number 1 prospect now. And then you're likely adding a top 2 pick.
Yeah. I mean, even Trey Mancini, I'll be happy about as an Orioles fan. He's had a great comeback off cancer, and
it's like
there
are some
part of that team.
It's like they're not going to be next year. They'll stink again, but it's like 2023. If like that's when the core starts making its way up, Orioles could be a 500 team. Not going to say. I'm going to say a 500 team.
Are you sure? Are you sure they don't have an outside chance at the wild card?
Hey man,
like the
Arizona
Diamondbacks do this year.
All I'm going to say is Arizona was over 500 at the end of April. They looked pretty good, and then everything fell off a cliff because.
Hey, all I'm going to say is outside chance of the wild card apparently means 41 games back in the division and 26 and a half back in the wild card. I won't say anything else. That's all I'm going to say.
Through April, the prediction seemed smart.
Well, through April, the Marlins were in second place in the NL East.
Okay, but that division's also disgustingly horrible. So,
and yet they're still 16 games back.
Yeah, that division's disgustingly horrible.
No, it is. It is disgustingly horrible. But
like, I'm sorry. Just give me 1 second. Check the standings really quickly. Yeah, the Toronto Blue Jays, who have been scuffling for a month now, would be 1 game back of the division lead in that division right now. They're in 4th in their division, a full 13 and a half games out of 1st. In fairness, the AL East has been really good this year, but like that's just pathetic.
Okay, I mean, with respect to the NL East, we're talking about Ronald Acuna Jr., Jacob deGrom, Mike Soroka. I mean, I could go on and on naming all-stars that have been injured this year.
Sir,
I just named 3 that have been out for months.
I'll give you the first 2, but I'm not going to say Soroka yet because who knows what he would have looked like this year. It's been over a year since he pitched.
But he was still the ace in Atlanta.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Coming into the season, we were just talking like, imagine the Braves now. They're going to win the division, and next year they're going to add Soroka and Acuna.
The Braves,
ridiculous.
I think the Braves winning the division says a lot more about the other teams than it does about Atlanta this season.
No, but it says a lot about Atlanta.
I mean, it says a lot about their resilience, but it also says that the other teams are just unable to take advantage of opportunity.
Oh no, Atlanta should have never even been within striking distance of the division.
Like if you're a Philadelphia Phillies fan, it's like you had Zach Wheeler put up a Cy Young caliber season. You're having Bryce Harper return to MVP form. You have JT Realmuto, who is supposedly the best catcher in baseball. I don't know if I'm still going to call him that, but supposedly. You have Gene Segura putting up an absurdly good year, and you're still only 2 games above 500 and 5 back in the playoff push.
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about how much struggles the Braves have had at the beginning of the season, the Mets have had more recently, and then the Nationals and the Marlins have, the Nationals had hopes for 2 weeks, but the Phillies really haven't had much happen to them that's been like a huge blow. The Phillies have really missed out on a lot of opportunities this year. And yes, they could be within 3.5 games at the end of the night, but there's a path this year. If it had worked differently, Philadelphia could have a 12-game lead in the division.
Well, Noah, you're making fun of my Arizona prediction. I remember Vince Velasquez is a good MLB pitcher.
Okay, I mean, to be fair, I said respectable.
Yeah,
I never said good.
That 5.95 ERA and 1.5 WHIP are real respectable numbers.
Honestly, I would take that on the Mets right now.
That's more about how pathetic the Mets are right now than anything else.
I would take that on the Mets. I would take that on the Nationals, the Marlins.
Okay, well, 2 of the teams you just listed are rebuilding teams, and the other one is a team that's been pathetic for the better part of 2 months. So,
and I don't know what the Mets are, but there's something.
They're a meme. Lowell Mets.
They are honestly a meme.
Lowell Mets will never die. New York just loves their meme teams. You have the Knicks, you have the Mets. Just for every Yankee success, you have the Knicks and Mets.
And the Jets.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
are we going to count them? They play in New Jersey now.
Fair, man.
They're just called the New York Jets, but they play in New Jersey. They have for like 10 years.
I mean, fair enough, but still call the New York
All right.
Jets.
That's fair. And you have the Giants too, if you want to include them.
So what we
Sports,
can do now, guys,
sports.
seeing as we're kind of approaching the last month of the regular season here, what Noah and I were discussing doing is Justin was we were gonna go like kind of team by team here and maybe like basically maybe grade or like maybe rating it a 10, like saying how important this next month is with regards to their team, the team's like future, like beyond 2021, like they need to have a good month, like something like that, just going team by team.
So it's like maybe if you're a rebuilder, it's like this month's not as important, but it's like you want to.
Yeah, so it's like okay, this and like what are
I thought you were gonna grade the season. I thought we were gonna. Okay, that took a different turn because I thought you were gonna say we wanted to grade how the season's gone as a whole. So
okay, well no, we can do that. That's actually kind of easier and all that.
Yeah, I mean, let's start with each team, grade where they are right now, and then
how crucial the next month is.
How
Yeah,
crucial
we
the
can do
next
that.
month is. And wait, correct me if I'm wrong, because I know a lot of rules have changed, and honestly, like I haven't caught in a lot of baseball recently. Tomorrow or September 1st, do the rosters expand?
2 players.
Two players. Okay,
yeah.
so it's not
28.
It's not
28-man roster. You can only have a max of, I think it's a 9-man bullpen.
Okay, good to know. Because that's another thing. Like maybe for the Tigers, for example, they're rebuilding. Maybe they're going to bring up 2 guys that are really going to be given their shot in the next month. And are they going to take advantage of it and be a part of that club next year? Or are they going to be released at the end of the season?
Maybe.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well,
So
where do we want to start?
Where do we want to start?
Let's start with the AL East. We'll go from bottom up. Let's go to the Baltimore Orioles.
All right, well, the season to this point, you give that a big fat D.
Yeah. Oh, you give that an F.
I don't give it an F just because they were supposed to still be in their rebuild. They weren't supposed to be good.
They have 40 wins.
Yeah, I'm aware. I'm aware how bad they've been.
They've won 40 games. You're going to give them a D?
I am going to give them a D because their Orioles were still supposed to be bad. A lot of people had them finishing with 100 losses. So this is par for the course for them at this point.
It's like the third year in a full
season. Like if they had avoided 100 losses this season, I would have given them a B.
All right. Matt, you're in my math class. You're a pretty poor student. You take a math test. You got 31%. But you know what, Matt? You're not good at math. I'm going to give you a D. You're welcome.
Well, that's not really this one. This is a very subjective one. This isn't like a very firm. There's no firm numbers here. This is a subjective opinion-based thing.
Hear me out. Justin said at the beginning of the year, the Orioles are going to be at the bottom of the league, at least the bottom of the division, but they're going to be competitive. They're going to be competitive in games, and they're going to win some games.
Yeah.
They've won 40 games. So how are you giving that a D?
Because I feel bad for that tortured city, and I feel bad for Brandon Hyde because the Orioles brass just keeps giving him garbage to work with.
Yes, because we know the entire tortured city is watching this live stream right now. I'm giving them an F. You know what? I'm giving them an F minus.
Well.
F minus.
I'm giving them a D. I'm feeling
because
fail.
I'm like Ellen.
Their pitching is hot garbage. And are there any promising young pitchers that can save them in the next few years? Like they're all just garbage. I'm sorry.
What do you mean their pitching is hot garbage? Aside from like 3 players on the entire roster, their whole team is hot garbage.
They got some hitters like Cedric.
Yeah, some.
We just forget about Grayson Rodriguez and his existence. Top 20 prospect. He's pretty damn good.
Oh yeah, that top 20 prospect's definitely moving them from an F to a D. Nope.
No. Matt said, do they have any pitchers coming to save them in the near future? Grayson Rodriguez is pretty damn good.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Well, 76% of top 20 prospects that are pitchers don't pan out. So, did I make that up?
Pull that number out of nowhere. Get out.
I might have pulled the number out of nowhere, but 40 wins, it's still an F.
And yeah, we're talking about a team that can't develop pitching to save their life. But anyways, I'm going to give them F as well. So let's go with the 4th place Blue Jays, who even though they're 8 games above 500 now, they're 4th place.
I'll give them a B minus.
Yeah, I'd give them around a B.
Because like people had expectations for them, but they're still a young team. The core is still walking for a long time. This year, the division was incredibly tough. They should improve in the offseason. another year of development should make their young players better. This is all in theory, of course. This could completely blow up and they could turn into garbage again. But like all things considering, especially with the injuries and their bullpen being completely garbage and Charlie Montoya mismanaging the team all season, it's like still pretty damn good. So I'll give him a B minus. I think that's a fair grade.
Yeah, I'd say B minus too. The Jays have they've been good this year. They've definitely had some struggles in the bullpen, but I mean, if you look at the injuries too and what they were expected heading into the season, I think that if you go back to the beginning of the season and you're saying 68 and 61 August 30th, that's pretty good. The Jose Barrios trade, I think, looking back on it, I think is good, especially for the next year. And I think this next month is going to be really important for them. I don't think they need to make the playoffs, but I think if they can go on a run, have a great end to the season, they'll be close for that wild card. But even then, they're going to build off that. A great end of the season will be great, and they'll be able to start things hot next year.
Yeah, I agree with all of what you guys said. I'd give them like a B, probably just a bit higher. I don't know. Like, thought they've had a pretty decent year, and it like again, Vladdy developing. Like I honestly didn't even think best case scenario he'd be like what he is this year. I mean, I know he had 80 grade tool, but man, he's just been a monster this year. Although he has struggled maybe a bit this last like a month or whatever. I mean, he's starting to turn it on again. So
two homers tonight.
Yeah, I mean against the Orioles, but hey, it's still major league pitching, and hey, if you hit bombs against any major league pitchers, you at least boost your confidence somewhat. But anyways, moving on to the next team, the Red Sox. This one is kind of interesting because in all honesty, they were very surprising that like the fact they were leading the division by like 4 games at one point early July. It's like that was beyond anyone's best expectations of this team. Obviously having a huge collapse, like it's just interesting what we grade them as.
I agree.
Considering the fact that you didn't have Chris Sale for 2/3 of the season, and your pitching staff. Look at Martin Perez was their 5th starter for most of the year. Their pitching staff way overperformed expectations. Their offense was always supposed to be good, but their pitching staff way overperformed. They're likely gonna make the postseason, barring an epic collapse, especially with a week-ending schedule. It's like if you're a Red Sox fan, this is nothing but a success.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I'd probably give them an A. Maybe A minus.
I'd also like to point out that Bobby Dalbec has struck out in 38.1% of his plate appearances.
Okay, well, that guy's been a disappointment. But other than that,
yeah, no, I'm saying like the fact that because he was one of their like kind of at the beginning of the season, he was a wild card. Maybe he can be a big factor into the Red Sox doing well this year.
Good spring training.
He did have a good spring training, and I think he had one good hit this year. So great job for you, Bobby. You had one heck of a run with that 237 batting average and 38% strikeout rate. But honestly, the Red Sox pitchers have been a little bit lucky this year, which is why I'm not giving them an A+. They've struggled a bit of late, but where they were at the start of the year, they've had a great season.
Man, well, aren't they lucky that Rafael Devers took the next step?
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the Yankees. I'm going to be a little bit harsher with them. I'm giving them a B+.
A-.
Fair.
I'm saying B+ because like they're hot right now and that inflated their record, but this was a team a month ago that was like barely over 500, scuffling along. Many said weren't going to make the postseason. It's like considering their roster coming to the year, the AL East was theirs for the taking. Everyone said it was like 100 wins this year was likely. They had the offense, they had the pitching, they had everything, and it's that it took a 22-5 run, which included a 13-game win streak, for them to even be within 5 games of a division lead. So it's like, like still a good season. It's like you've obviously had a good year. You're gonna make the postseason more than likely, but I can't give it above a B+.
Yeah, and I mean it also like look at how much it took at the deadline.
Yeah,
to get this done, and I mean second half of the season they've been an A+.
Oh yeah, the
first half of the season they were probably a C.
Like C minus area in the first half because it's like they completely underperformed expectations.
Yeah, so I respect that. B+, I think, is what you said, but
yeah,
I respect that. That's good.
Matt,
I'd give them a B. I don't know because again, for some reason, I was very high in the Yankees. I mean, again, I think I had them like second or a lot. I think we did have them like second or like our preseason power rankings and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I guess they're probably back in the top 5 of our power rankings, or maybe just a bit outside. But like, I don't know. I I think like, yeah, they've had a hot run, but like Justin said, it's like they were barely above 500 for most of the year. Well, they were like above 500, but like they were kind of just middling around there. And a lot of players were kind of been having disappointing seasons. And honestly, it was mostly Aaron Judge that was carrying that offense. I mean, obviously they traded for Joey Gallo and Anthony Rizzo now, and their offense has definitely picked up. And Chapman's kind of been pretty bad this year too, in all honesty. And Zach Britton's been bad. They don't really have a defined like reliable closer right now.
No.
So I
Also because we talked about Gallo and Rizzo. Credit for Brian Cashman for noting his team's issues and paying whatever price it took to fix them. So people wanted his head on a stake going into the deadline, but hey, good on him.
Yeah, he got the job done.
He did, yeah. Now they make the playoffs because of those moves.
Right. Tampa Bay. I don't think you can give them any
A plus. A plus.
Can we go
Incredible.
higher? Is this where we break out the A plus plus?
No, I'm saving that for one specific team.
Oh, okay, I'm excited.
I still said the Rays were going to be good. I didn't think they'd be this good. I'm not going to like toot my own horn, but I thought they would be good.
The fact that they traded like so many of their, like, you look at their probably top 3 starters were like the guys who were in the playoffs last year. Who was it? Like Tyler Glasnow, like Blake Snell, and Charlie Morton. None of them are pitching for the team, right? They're not. They're starting rotation. 2 of those guys got traded, one guy got traded, one guy signed free agency, and the other guy's just hurt for the rest of the year. They even traded Rich Hill this year too, and it's like they're still finding ways to win. It's just insane.
Well, that's just what the Rays do. It's just they take advantage of the numbers and find ways to win no matter what.
Yeah.
Good management, good coaching.
Yeah.
Trickle down. And what's fascinating about the Rays is because everyone knows their business side of things, where they can be very harsh and cold with the business side and trading away players. If you talk to players that like played for the Tampa Bay Rays, they will tell you that it's one of their favorite stops, and the organization treats you like gold while you were there. So it's like, it's very fascinating that they're able to like still treat you like that well, and even though the players know that it's like you could be moved at any moment.
Yeah.
So I think that speaks a lot to the organization, where they understand the business side of it, but they also understand the human element. And that's why I think they always overperform what their roster should do, because players are happy to be there and play for them because they respect the human element.
Yeah, I mean, you see the Blue Jays at 68 and 61. That's where I expected the Rays to be this year.
Yeah.
Like they were still going to win games, but I did not see them being 82 and 48 on August 30th.
Sorry, can we just talk also about Wander Franco being on a 29-game on-base streak entering?
Yeah,
today?
he's looked legit.
He didn't play today, so the streak. Oh, he did play. Never mind. He went 1 for 5, so he extended the streak. Now 30.
He's pretty good.
The Rays beat the Red Sox 6-1. For those who are wondering, hey, ironically, Boston's only run tonight was a Bobby Dalbec homer.
There you go. He probably struck out 3 times.
Bobby heard me. He heard me.
Bobby Dalbec went 1 for 3 with a walk, no strikeouts.
Whoa!
Wow!
Sound the alarm.
The rest of the team struck out 10 times, but Bobby didn't.
Bobby did not fall victim to that.
Are you sure you're reading that correctly, Justin?
I am. I was very surprised to read it. The Rays, meanwhile, struck out 8 times tonight, walked 6.
Good for Bobby Dalbec.
My boy Mike Zunino
Wow.
with the Mike Zunino game, 0 for 2, 2 walks, 2 punch outs.
Awesome.
God, I love
All
that
right.
guy.
Right,
That's
moving
the
on to NL Central.
Do we really need to talk about
So the Twins?
Can we? I was going to say for the Twins, I'm giving that an F.
I'm giving that a
That's
Z.
big
Zed.
fat F.
Zed.
The Twins are just. I don't even need to talk about the Twins. Just everything that went wrong went wrong.
Zed.
Yeah, we hear you now.
Yeah.
Just that's all I need to say about the Twins. Anything that could have went wrong for them. That's all that needs to be said.
I mean, didn't Noah predict them to win the division this year?
Good.
Yes, I did.
Which is why everything that went wrong. That's all that needs to be said about them.
I mean, yeah, I kind of thought their pitching overperformed last year, especially Kenta Maeda. I didn't think he I knew he's a respectable pitcher, but I didn't think he was as good as he showed last year. And yeah, he's regressed mightily this year. And the free agent guys they got in, well, Jay Happ and Matt Shoemaker have just been absolutely brutal this year. So, and even Alex Colom's been brutal too. So yeah,
They're just
don't even talk about Alex Colome.
Yeah, whatever you say his name. I don't even
He's
care.
had an awful
So
year.
that's the Twins. Royals.
Um,
I'm gonna give them a C.
yeah, I'd say C because I thought I know Noah was kind of higher on them, and when I was looking at them before the year, I was like, they had a quietly good offseason last year. Trading for Andrew Benintendi, they got Michael A. Taylor, Carlos Santana. So they made some moves, and they had some younger pitchers, and
They're in the
Keller and I forget what the other
Keller's
guy's
been
name is.
Keller's been terrible, but
Yeah, and he's been terrible. And there's another guy, young guy, that's been pretty brutal.
Singer.
Yeah.
Singer.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Brady Singer.
Yeah, he's young as well too, and he's just been brutal too. Both those guys have ERAs over 5 and walks per 9 over 4. It's like they've just been brutal. So, yeah, I'd give him like a C. That's probably a fair rating.
The big thing with the Royals this year has been Sal Perez, man. Good on him.
He's been great. He gets an
Sal
A+.
Perez, since his Tommy John surgery, he's turned into a huge power bat. So good on him. Or like Salvi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he gets an A. He gets an A+.
Oh,
Team C.
he gets an A+ for sure. And you know what? The Royals still have a good offense. They've had some guys struggling this year, but Salvador Perez has just been phenomenal.
They're a team to rebuild.
Yeah, and Bobby Witt Jr. gonna be there soon.
It'll be good.
And
Well, that's why I'm willing to give the Royals a C. It's a team coming out of a rebuild. They accomplished everything they needed to accomplish this year. So they didn't go over, so it's not a B, but it's like wasn't worse than what you thought it would be. So that's a C.
Exactly. And next year, they're going to go back to the Kansas City Royals fundamental baseball that you saw in 2014, 2015. And who knows, maybe they'll challenge for a wild card spot next year.
Detroit, I'm giving them a B+.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, B+. Yeah, I agree with them.
You're only like this was a team that was the worst in baseball after April. Everyone said they were going to suck again. And now you look and they're only 8 games under 500. They've been challenged. Yeah. They've got young players like Casey Mize are showing up in the bigs. The veterans they added like Scope and Grossman have performed to what they expected. You have Cabrera obviously doing what he does. You have guys like Akil Baddoo and Eric Hawes who came out of nowhere and have become pretty solid building blocks moving forward. It's just good on them. Good season, Detroit.
Yeah, they have a great farm system.
They have a great farm system.
Yeah,
and
Spencer Torkelson.
Yeah. Casey Mize had a great year.
Torkelson next year. He's coming up next year. He's already at AAA. They already said he's already at AAA now. Like he'll be up next year. Dude can rake.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, really the biggest question mark for the Tigers going forward in the future is they really don't have a set outfield.
Yeah.
They've had so many players play in the outfield this season and last season, and they're still struggling to find their outfielders of the future. Akil Baddoo has had a great year though. He really came out of nowhere.
Yeah, a guy who hasn't played above A ball, doing what he did. Rule 5 pick. Good on him.
Exactly. And Casey Mize has had a tremendous year. Even Matt Manning's numbers aren't great, but to get him that like 60 innings this year, going into next year, kind of like Casey Mize, you get him some innings, let him develop, and then maybe Matt Manning comes up next year like Casey Mize did this year, and then he really got a rotation.
Third guy in that rotation, Tariq Skubal.
Yeah,
he's been pretty solid this year. Especially in the month of August. Oh, he's been incredible.
Yeah. Right, so next up, Cleveland. Probably a C for me with Cleveland.
I'd give them like a B in all honesty. I think they've had a pretty good year. They've had a lot of injuries, especially their starters.
I think for me it's a C just based on the fact that people, despite them trading Lindor and stuff, people still thought they'd be competitive and push for a playoff spot, and they're sitting at 500. Like a lot of a bunch of their players have been disappointing to what the expectation was. So, like, I think they've performed at where they should be. I don't think they've overperformed to be a B. I don't think they've underperformed to be a D. I think they're exactly what they were going to be.
Their offense has been awful.
Yeah, it's been brutal.
Like it's Jose Ramirez, Franmil Reyes, and then the occasional Ahmed Rosario good game.
Yeah. I like their young pitching though. They have a lot of good young pitching on that team.
Yeah, the young pitching's nice, but I still don't think I can give them higher than a C.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean Shane Bieber hasn't thrown since June 13th.
And Aaron Savella, whatever you want to call him, has been hurt for a lot of the year too now.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd give them a C too. The Indians, they haven't really.
This is a fun one to grade though. The White Sox. I'm probably giving them a B.
I'm giving them a B minus.
I know they've dealt with injuries and stuff, but that division is really weak, and they won't like if the postseason started today, they wouldn't have home field advantage, and they're supposed to be a World Series threat. So it's
And you talk about
you got to take advantage of that division, and they haven't. So it's like they're gonna make the playoffs. Good on them, they'll be there. But it's for what that division is and what their team is, they haven't lived up to the expectations.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, but you talk about them like getting these guys back, but like even of late with these guys back, like they're still not playing that great of baseball.
Yep.
Like, yes,
the
they're
pitching's
20
been
games.
brutal.
Yeah, they're 20 games above 500, but I mean, so would a lot of teams in that division.
Yep.
I mean,
Like
Craig Kimbrell's been bad since they've acquired him, like really bad.
yeah.
Yep. So that's the AL Central.
All right.
Now the AL West. Rangers.
C
minus. I'd give them.
They're performing to what they should have been. They were always going to be bad. They got assets for the guys they needed to get assets for at the deadline. They've had some surprising developments from some players. That's a C for me.
You know what? I'm giving them a D. I think that them trading Kyle Gibson at the deadline was dumb. I thought that, I mean, he still had a year left of control. They didn't get that much from the Phillies for him.
Well, they got Spencer Howard.
Yeah, but like Kyle Gibson's had a great year. I just didn't think they got enough. I think the Rangers winning 45 games and also trading off their assets for not tremendous returns, I think they could have done better.
I mean, the flip side of that coin though is what happens if Kyle Gibson stinks the rest of the way in Texas. Then you don't get anything from him in the offseason, and then you're really hoping he continues.
Yeah, I think he might be at his peak value then.
So
yeah, but you're talking about a guy you can extend that can be like the guy in Texas for the next few years.
I know, but it's also at the same time you gotta like as a rebuilder. Sometimes you just gotta take those assets when you can get them.
Yeah, because he was a surprise this year for what the year he was having. You might as well take it.
Okay, but like you're talking about a prospect. You don't know if he's going to pan out. You have this actual ace who maybe he won't continue to pitch like this, but he has been, that you could lock up to a pretty like team friendly contract, and you're trading him away because it's risky, but yet you're trading him for a prospect who is just as, if not more, of a risk. I just didn't understand it.
Real dollars versus potential dollars.
That's what I'm saying, though. Kyle Gibson is real dollars, and they should have kept on. They should have kept him.
We can have this debate for a while, but we're not going to get anywhere with it. So
yeah, fair enough. Who's next? The Angels?
D.
I
know Trout's been hurt all year and all, but like
D.
You literally have Ohtani, who is quite literally the best player in baseball all season.
Their pitching's hot garbage.
Like if you just invested in any form of pitching, your team would be better. Like outside of Raisel Iglesias, it's like what else do they have going for them?
But you know what? At the beginning of the year, I think I wrote an article about Shohei Ohtani, and I said, like, if he's able to do this with the bat and this with the arm, maybe the Angels have a shot at the wild card. But you know what? Mike Trout's been out all year. If you add Mike Trout to that lineup, yes, their pitching is awful, but if you have Mike Trout these past few months, the Angels might be in the wild card spot.
Maybe.
Because Mike Trout's a difference maker. And we're talking about they're 10 games back in the wild card.
Well, here's the thing. Even without Trout, the Angels roster is more talented than the Mariners roster.
Oh, 100%.
The Mariners are 9 games over 500.
100%. But we're talking about the Angels are only 3 games below 500. They've been missing Mike Trout all year. And Anthony Rendon has been injured, but he's been awful too.
I know. I get what you're saying. I completely understand. It's just that for me, it's just like you like even with all these injuries, which are like obviously like it's going to add like 6-7 wins to your total. Like you're still worse than a team that has a worse roster who's also been dealing with injuries all season.
Yeah.
That's why I'm giving them a D, especially when Ohtani's been healthy all year.
Yeah.
Add that in your lineup all year and on the mound all year. You've had a Cy Young caliber pitcher pitching every 5th day, while a MVP is hitting for you every day.
Tough luck for the Angels. They can't get anything right. Like Ohtani's finally healthy and Trout isn't. And Rendon isn't.
Yep.
Like, I mean, at the end of the day, you can't even really say anything. Their pitching's awful, but like it's not their fault Mike Trout's missed all year. It's not
also
their
their own
fault
fault
Anthony
for
Rendon
investing
was
so
an
much money in. It's their own fault for investing so much money in 3 players and not spreading it throughout the roster, and then poorly spending on the rest of the roster.
Yeah. I also didn't like how they handled the whole Albert Pujols thing.
Yeah,
So I think that kind of lowers it too for me.
All right, moving on to the Mariners. I'm going to give them an A-.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give him an A.
A as well. Yeah.
You know, I'll give them an A. It's been a good season for them.
It has been a good season for them.
They've surpassed expectations. They're in the wild card hunt. They won't make the playoffs, but
but
they're a threat moving forward, and that young core's coming. So
tell me, Justin, why aren't they making the playoffs? Because I keep saying that, but they are getting closer.
Why aren't they making the playoffs?
They're 4 games back to the wild card. Why can't they make the playoffs? The Red Sox are struggling. The Athletics are struggling. The Jays have not taken advantage of anything. Why can't the Mariners make the wild card?
Because the Mariners' September schedule is a lot tougher than the Red Sox.
But look at the Mariners.
The Red Sox see a lot of the Orioles in September.
The Mariners play better against good teams.
I would agree on that, actually.
I'm aware, but the Red Sox are going to see a lot of the Orioles. I think they have 9 or 10 games.
Yeah.
Right there, that's like 7 or 8 wins. I think it comes down to schedule. It's not a knock on the Mariners. I think it comes down to schedule.
Yeah,
I still don't think the Mariners are going to make the playoffs. I think
they'll go down. I think they'll go down kicking and screaming. They're going to put up a fight. I just don't think they have enough time to make up that ground anymore, especially with the Red Sox schedule being so soft.
But
that's all.
I mean, if you look at the Mariners, one player that's kind of been like pretty much what the team has been this year is Kyle Seager. He has 85 RBIs despite a .216 batting average.
And a 745 OPS, which goes to show that RBIs are a team stat, not an individual stat.
Exactly, but it also says that teams can win games if they get hits at the right time, and the Mariners have been doing that all year.
The guy having an no one talks about him, but Ty France.
Ty France said,
yeah, he's having a good year. He's killed the Jays multiple times. I've seen.
Yeah, and we're talking. Chris Flexen has had a phenomenal year.
You say Kikuchi?
He's been off and on.
But Chris Flexen's had a 3.54 ERA this year.
Yeah, he's been their ace.
Sadler coming out of nowhere. That's also fun.
Yeah.
So that's the Mariners. I think I give Oakland a B.
Yeah, I would say so. That's probably a fair rating. They are, out of all the contenders, they're the worst at playing other contending teams. They're pretty bad against, teams above 500. But I mean, they beat up on the crap teams, I guess.
I think they're a B. I think they're.
You know what? I'm gonna give them a C rating.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of you said Oakland wasn't going to be good this year back in the preseason.
To be fair, Justin, you had them winning the division.
I know. I've always been high on Oakland.
But I mean, why? Like, right now, they're not even going to make the playoffs. Coming into the year, you predicted them to win the division, and they're not even going to make the playoffs right now. So how are they a B?
How are they a B?
How are they a B if they went from going to win the division to 2 games back of the wild card? How are they a B?
They're still performing well. They're 13 games over 500 despite slumping right now. It's not exactly like they've been like this horrible like train wreck. They're behind a team that's 75 and 58. If you give me 1 second to do the math on that.
Okay.
75 plus 58, 133, 75 divided by 133, multiply that by 1. Yeah, they're on pace. They're on pace for a 90-win season. That's still a good season. It's just they're stuck in like, I don't know. It's like I can't really say like, oh, a 90-win season is like this horrible, like deserves a C ranking. Still a 90.
Why not? If their hopes are here and they are here, how are they a B?
They've also been pretty unfortunate this year with a lot of things.
So how are they
at their pitching staff getting decimated?
So it's a pity B. I see how it is. You heard that, Matt.
I don't think it's a pity B.
You just said it's been unfortunate. They've had a lot of unfortunate things happen. Pity B.
I still think they're a B.
No. They're a C. Matt, what do you think? C or B?
B minus. I'll meet you in the middle. Because you do bring up a good point that, hey, they still aren't in a playoff spot right now. If they maybe were in a playoff spot, maybe B or B plus. But and they still don't perform well against good like teams above 500. Like they're 30-42 against teams above 500. So
Yeah.
can't do it against good teams. Beat up on crap teams. All right, moving on to the Astros. This one's interesting. I may give them like a, I don't know, A-. I don't know.
I'll go A-.
I'll go C for cheating.
Hey,
Because we know they are. We know they are.
I'll give them credit for,
Yeah, and everybody's cheating. They're just the stupid idiots that got caught.
That's true.
Everybody's cheating though.
They're hitting.
If you don't think your favorite team's cheating, like just newsflash, they are. You just don't know
the
it.
Jays don't cheat. I know.
Okay,
Alright.
with all due respect, you say my team's cheating. If the Mets are cheating, like honestly,
They're doing a bad job.
I'm pretty
doing a Mets
embarrassed.
job.
I'm pretty embarrassed if they're cheating.
No, it's not that they aren't cheating. It's just that they're the worst at cheating. There you go.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know what the adversity they had to deal with, be actually facing full crowds and all that stuff, and kind of being able to back it up a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, all the guys that couldn't do it without cheating still have 800 OPSs, like Altuve, Correa, Gurriel.
Yeah, they got a good offense.
The only one that doesn't is Bregman, and he has a ho-hum 794, despite being injured most of the year. Oh, the horror!
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I think they can win the World Series this year.
look
What
at
impressed me the most about the Astros was pitching. The pitching I didn't think was going to be there this year. And
The starters are really good. Yeah. Zach Greinke's
Greinke's been Greinke, McCullers has been solid, Garcia's been unexpected, Framber Valdez is back and he's still good.
yeah, I mean, how
Yeah.
about Luis Garcia?
They
3.21
completely reinvented their bullpen to make it good and not a weakness anymore. Like,
Yeah. A-.
Yeah.
they'll probably.
I'm-
I think they're the likeliest bet to come out of the AL right now.
Yeah, I like their team.
Take them in a 7-game series over a lot of teams. They have the pitching depth, they have the bullpen, they have the offense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. The Houston Cheaters are going to make the World Series again this year.
All right. Now moving on to our most favorite division in
All right, let's-
all of baseball.
That took us like
The
45
NL least. Sorry, least, not east.
That took us like 45 minutes. So let's try to shorten this one up.
All right, fair enough. I know this one, I don't know, maybe hit close to home here, to Noah here. But all right, Miami Marlins, what do we got here? I don't know.
See,
D?
They're a C.
They're C? Fair enough.
they're
Why-
doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, but we're talking about the Marlins, like coming into the year, they were expected to be the last place team in the division. They're actually just a game back of fourth.
Yeah,
but-
they came back of a team
They
that's
are who we thought
Yeah.
they are.
But Sixto Sanchez has been out all year. He's going to be healthy for next season. Eliezer Hernandez has missed the entire season mostly. Like we're talking about a lot of guys that have been hurt. They've made a bunch of good trades. I think have been good trades. I do like the Jesus Luzardo pickup. I think even though he's been bad with Miami, I think it's a good reset for him. I think he's going to be able to work hard this offseason. Maybe next year he's going to be a big piece of that rotation. But the Marlins really haven't performed worse than expected.
They've been
And
what we thought they
they've
were.
had a lot of injuries. And hey, right now they're sitting at 420, so they have to be a C.
All right.
now the Nationals. I don't know.
Nationals are an F.
They were, supposed to be competitive. They were supposed to be good. They brought in all these pieces to be good. They sold their core and they fell flat on their faces and traded everyone but Soto.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can call that anything but a failure.
Yeah. Just the Trey Turner trade alone seals the deal for me. They're an F.
All right. Now the Mets. Oh boy.
We'll leave this one to Noah, I think.
Yeah. I think
I would say a D. I think that the Mets, like, coming into the year, if you would have said they were going to be 63 and 67, you'd probably give them an F. But a lot of things have gone wrong. They've missed DeGrom all year. I'm pretty sure every single person on their roster has spent time on the injured list. I mean, come on. Noah Syndergaard finally coming back from Tommy John surgery lands on the COVID list. He just got COVID-19.
I'll give it a D as well, but here's my argument for an F. I'm gonna stick with a D as my grade, but here's my argument for an F. When all the garbage was happening, when everyone was getting hurt, they were still winning games and staying at the top of the division. Once everyone got healthy except for DeGrom, that's when they started losing. So it's like that's where you could argue the F when it's like they were finally healthy and then they started sucking.
The only bright side for the Mets is I think we're going to be able to re-sign Michael Conforto now because he's been awful, and
I think
we might be
Conforto-
able to re-sign Noah Syndergaard.
I think Conforto. I feel like Conforto has made points that like he's done.
Done.
I think both sides have because based on what I've been reading, I think both sides have made it clear that they're going to look to move apart this offseason.
Yeah, but I still think he might take another year.
I don't think I think you're missing it. I think the Mets might not even offer him a contract.
They have to offer him the qualifying offer.
They don't have to do anything.
It would be stupid.
Just because they should doesn't mean they will.
Okay.
It's still the Mets.
They will.
Noah,
they will.
Noah, I know you're using the logical part of your brain, but this is the New York Mets. Turn the logic off and think like the Mets.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, they're probably not going to
grade them as a thumbs down, like the players would themselves.
Right.
All right. Now moving on to who's second? The Phillies.
See,
yeah.
don't think it's like
B minus.
I think it's a C because it's like people thought they'd hover around 500. They realistically should be better, but they aren't. But it's not like they've like failed expectations entirely.
I think it's a B minus because everyone thought they were probably going to finish third or fourth this season. They're entering September still with a shot at first. And we're talking about Zach Wheeler's had a phenomenal year. Bryce Harper's had a great year. Like the Phillies have been good. Their record doesn't necessarily show it, and they've definitely choked a bunch of games this season. But I'll give them a B.
All right. We'll stick with a C, but I see your points. I give them validity.
All right, fair enough.
All right. Atlanta. I think Atlanta's a B.
Yeah, I think they were a D in the first half of the season. They've been an A the last month and a half.
I think they're a B. Like they're still leading the division. They're doing what they were supposed to, but at the same time, it's like injuries aside, it's like even when Acuna was healthy, they were struggling. Like they should be better, especially with the NL East being such a dumpster fire. They should be better than what they are. So I give them a B because they're still meeting expectations. It's just they should be better.
All right. Moving on to the NL Central, I guess now. Who's left? The Pirates? I don't know. I kind of expect them to be brutal. So like,
I'm gonna give them a C plus B minus range because it's like they're gonna lose 100 games more than likely, but it's gonna be close. Like to be fair, we said if they win 50 games, that'd be a miracle at the beginning of the year. I'm like, they're gonna win 50 games, so C plus B minus range. Good job, Pirates.
Yeah. I'm giving them a D. Spend more than $30 million on your team before you get higher than a D, please.
Hey, man. Then I guess we have to change our ranking for Cleveland because I'm pretty sure they spent the least on their roster this year.
All right, let's change it right now. Cleveland Indians are a D.
Just because
Pittsburgh Pirates are a D. You know what? They're from Pittsburgh. They're an F.
There you go.
All right.
Perfect. Yeah, I don't know. I'll give them a C. So I just expect them to be bad. Yeah. All right, who's second last in that division? Is it the Cubs? Or?
F.
Yeah, F.
One last ride. Did not amount to much.
You know what, D? They were actually. I was quite surprised. I did not think they were going to trade all three of the guys that they were going to lose at the end of the season. I was very impressed that they did that, and that's why I'm giving them a D. I thought it was a smart move.
Fair.
They weren't going to re-sign. They weren't going to re-sign either of those guys, and they were able to drastically improve their depleted farm system.
Yeah, their farm system's pretty decent now.
And hey, who knows? Now maybe they'll sub re-sign one of them.
Yeah.
I don't think Javi Baez is going to stay in New York too much with this. So maybe he'll go to the Cubs.
All right. Cardinals.
D.
C minus.
Cardinals were
they're still above 500.
By many. They were picked by many to win the division this year.
Yeah.
They've just been so inconsistent.
Well, that's why I think it's like they're still above 500, so it's hard to be a D, but it's hard to give them like higher than a C, so C minus.
They've won 22 games against teams above 500 this year.
Well, lately it's because their
Yikes.
bullpen continues to just choke away games at
They
Alex.
walk so many guys, their bullpen.
Their
Alex
entire
Yep.
team does. Yeah, the starting pitching does too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, but let's pour one out for Adam Wainwright for rediscovering Cy Young form in
Yeah, he's looked really good.
season. He's got a sub-3 ERA.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how about John Lester? We just both realized he pitched for the Cardinals. So
Yep, he does. He's stinking, but he does.
hey, he had one good start.
Yeah. So that's the Cardinals. Reds. I'm
Ooh,
gonna give him an A-.
Reds are a B plus.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
give him an A-.
I like A minus too. I could go either way, but the fact that they're in sole possession of that second wild card spot right now says a lot about that team. Their offense is great.
Yep,
If
Joey
they
Votto's
had have
back.
actually Joey Votto is back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing what happens when you substitute some of his legendary discipline for power.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, if they had made a big move this offseason, or if they had made a big move at the deadline, they could have a shot at the division.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty impressive after what they were expecting coming into the season.
Sorry, I just want to backtrack to Votto for like 1 second.
Yeah,
How incredible is it that this guy in his like age 37 season completely reinvented himself to become an elite hitter again by sacrificing what made him so good in the first place to become better?
Yeah,
Like, how many players can do that?
not many.
So it's like tip of the cap to Votto. Also, Jonathan India, great rookie season.
Great rookie season. Castellanos has been great too.
Jesse
Matt's
Winker.
favorite, Mr. Winker, has been
Oh, buddy.
awful this year, but I guess he's been good.
Yeah, that 307 average with that 955 OPS, real horror show.
Oh, he only has a 307 average? Okay, yeah, Matt, I'm with you. He's awful.
Yeah, 307 average, 395 OBP. Terrible.
I said he wouldn't finish the year with an average over 300. So see what he
Still
does.
possible.
For Matt, because Matt hates strikeouts. He's only has 75 strikeouts and 420 at bats as a power hitter.
Crud. Maybe I like him. Who knows?
No, Matt, stop changing everything. You either like a guy, you don't like him, Matt.
No, okay, yeah, I'll still hate Jesse Winker.
All right, good. Because
Brew
what is
Crew.
life without Matt hating Jesse Winker?
Brew Crew.
Now the Brew Crew. I like them. I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
give him an A+.
A plus. Their pitching is legit.
A
Pitching's
minus because they're
They're all controllable too. They could be like this for
Their
next
offense,
couple
their
years.
offense isn't completely horrible anymore. It's still not great, but it's not
pretty bad.
completely horrible.
Willie Adames has been a great pickup. He's been awesome.
That's where Luis Arias is showing some signs of life too. Like he hasn't been terrible. He's got a 775 OPS. That's like something I'd
Yeah.
want a middle infielder. Colton Wong is an 815 OPS. Who saw that coming before the season started? Certainly not Cardinals fans.
Yeah, but Keston here has been just great this year.
Man, imagine if Christian Yelich had an OPS better than 773. Like, that's their like superstar MVP player, and he's one of their like meh hitters. So it's like they've had Yelich having a bad year. Hira's been downright awful. So those are like their two guys who were expected to be their best hitters, and like they're 79 and 52 with offensive contributions from guys you didn't expect. Like for me, that's an A+ season.
I mean, in defense to Hira, many would have taken a 305 batting average this year. They just weren't expecting it to be in the minor leagues.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's been
Woodruff,
pretty
Burns,
bad.
Peralta all have sub-1 whips. Like, when was the last time you could think of a rotation that the three starters all have sub-1 whips?
They're
It's absurd.
They're stupid. All homegrown guys. All controllable.
Yeah.
They're gonna be good for a while.
Well, the offense still sucks, so
Yeah, it does.
No,
that's
suck.
why I don't know how you can give it an A+ when their offense is as bad as it is. A-.
All right, NL. I mean, their offense isn't that terrible. They have 600 runs. They have 600 runs scored. They were top 5 offense in the NL by runs scored.
Well, I mean, again, the NL, so
NL Central is not that good of a division.
Yeah, they're second in the NL Central. They have a plus 119 run differential. It's like either way you slice it, they've been great.
I think that run differential is more to do with their pitching than it has to do with their hitting.
Well, yes, it obviously does. But they've scored 606 runs. They're one of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One of 7 NL offenses that have done that.
The middle of the pack offense.
Yeah, middle of the pack.
Top 5 in the NL in terms of that.
All right.
Sixth.
All right.
So still top. Still
No
no.
West. Just
Diamondbacks.
D-backs.
My
That's a
squad.
fat old F minus said.
Can we give them a G?
Gee.
Everything that could have went wrong for the Diamondbacks went wrong.
Wait, what does the G stand for? Does the G stand for good prediction, Justin?
The G stands for goodness gracious. You guys sucked.
But on the bright side, I just got intel. Breaking news: the Diamondbacks have an outside chance at the wild card.
22, baby, book it. You can tell Marte's going to stay healthy for the first time in 3 years.
He's been great this year. Oh, in his limited time, he's been good.
Oh yeah, definite MVP candidate, that's for sure.
I mean, if you stay healthy, yeah, he's a 950 OPS.
Yeah, 346 average.
He's a damn good hitter. He just couldn't stay healthy. He's a damn good hitter.
Yeah. Too bad he can't pitch. That's the only thing I have to say about that.
Remember when they paid Madison Bumgarner all that money to be an ace, and then he just wasn't an ace?
Yeah. Oh, Diamondbacks.
Remember when they traded their number 1 overall pick for Shelby Miller?
Oh, Diamondbacks.
Moving on from that.
The Rockies.
They're only 10 games under 500, man. I think I got to give them a C+. I'd give them a B, but they didn't trade Trevor Story like a bunch of dumb
that was oh gosh.
Because it's like they've accomplished everything they needed to accomplish, but they didn't trade Trevor Story for reasons that only Dick Monfort can answer.
You know what? The Rockies have the second most wins at home in all of baseball.
They've been great at home.
They have been really good at home.
Horrible on the road.
They're 60 and 70. They've been better than expected. It's just like they didn't trade Story. Like you deserve to be watched for that.
Yeah.
You just made it pretty clear that he's not re-signing with you. So why didn't you trade him?
Yeah, I'll give him like a B minus.
Like I gotta give them I gotta give them a C+ for that. I'd give them a B, but otherwise it's like no. Like CJ, like you pulled CJ Crone out of obscurity to post a 913 OPS for you.
Core is a fact. Still have to say.
I mean, yeah, Coors obviously helps, but like you still have to hit on the road as well. And he's the only player on
the fair enough.
OPS.
Hey, but how about Dom Nunez has struck out in 40% of his at-bats for the Rockies?
And Matt, because you love on base so much, like Coors helps, but like CJ Crone has an OBP that's 102 points higher than his average. Coors doesn't just do that. That also involves having a good eye.
CJ Crone.
All right, the San Diego Padres.
I'm gonna it's like a D, honestly.
D.
C-.
D.
It's been brutal.
Want to know what they're because they were doing fine, and then all of a sudden, just everything fell apart.
If they don't make the playoffs, it's an F this year.
Destroyed by injuries after going for it. Just like
okay, you want to know why they're a D, Justin? At least a D. Go back and watch that first series. The Dodgers played the Padres. The excitement from the fans.
Oh my god, that series was
electric. The excitement from the team. They were like, "Oh my goodness, we're playing competitive baseball in the month of April." Yeah.
Well, it's the Padres. When was the last time they were competitive before last year?
But this is why the Padres can't have good things. Because they finally have a decent
I thought you were going to say they can't have good things because Tatis's shoulder implodes every 2 seconds, but...
No, they can't have good things because every time they're looking good, they get way too cocky. And Tatis is a great example of that. How about you just play the game, and then when the postseason comes, get cocky. Man, you don't have to do that in April. You do that in April, that's karma.
Man, imagine
that's
if
why you suck.
He didn't implode.
Yeah.
Man, Tatis is still absurd. You
can hate
him all you want. He's a top 5 player in the world.
Imagine if he wasn't incredibly lucky this season.
Imagine if Blake Snell wasn't a huge disappointment this year and the Padres didn't trade.
I wouldn't exactly call Fernando Tatis Jr. lucky, but well, sure, you go with that.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna give the Padres a D, and then I'm gonna pull a Tatis and do a bat flip.
All right.
We just
Dodgers
do bat flips over everything.
You can hate him all you want. You'd love him on the Mets.
I don't hate him.
Very much dislike him.
I do not dislike Fernando Tatis Jr.
All right, the Dodgers.
The Dodgers are an A.
A minus.
Yeah,
Some people said
they've
they
been
would.
solid.
There were people who said they were going to threaten the all-time wins record this year. That's how deep they were. So
They
not
have
even
a really
leading,
good.
not even leading your division. It's like can't give you a perfect grade for that.
I mean, it's not their fault that they spent $40 million on a guy that's going to end up in prison.
Prison, maybe.
I mean, yes, it isn't their fault, but I'm just saying people said they would break the all-time wins record this year.
I mean, to be fair, they have the best run differential in all of baseball.
Yeah,
I didn't say they were bad. I'm not knocking them being good.
by quite a bit.
They also, by quite a bit, their run differential.
When you have as much hype,
209.
when you have as much hype as the Dodgers had entering the season, you better be leading your division for most of it.
Hmm.
That's all.
Well,
That's all.
they also traded for Trey Turner. That puts them at an A for me.
It's nothing personal against the Dodgers. I like a lot of the players on that team. Walker Buehler is an absolute ace. Throwback to when I had an argument with a guy on Twitter who told me Walker Buehler wasn't a real ace and he was just overhyped. That was back in May.
Yeah, those were the glory days. Those 2 weeks you were on Twitter.
And then I told that guy he was a fool for thinking that because Walker Buehler only had one season with a whip above 1. And he was like 3 years into his career. But shout out that guy who said Walker Buehler's not an ace. You inspired him to be a Cy Young contender this year.
Yeah, Walker Buehler definitely saw Justin's tweet and was like, wow, I have all the confidence I need now.
Yep.
This guy's pulling
Taking some-
for
taking some
winning
credit
those
for that.
online battles.
Welcome,
I
Walker.
gotta pitch well.
You're welcome, Walker.
All right,
To my,
last but not least, the
to
Giants.
the best team in baseball, A++ for San
D
Francisco.
minus.
Yeah.
Yeah, D minus. They're 6-4 in the last 10. That's disappointing.
A++ for the San Francisco Giants, who came out of nowhere to be the best team in baseball through 5 months.
Yeah.
Saw that coming.
Yeah, they're A+++++.
Posey's having a resurgence. Crawford resurgence. They added Bryant, who's actually been good for them. Brendan Belt, when healthy's been good. Darren Ruff's surprisingly been good. Evan Longoria, when healthy's been good.
Wilmer Flores has been good.
Wilmer Flores. Meanwhile, you have guys who were supposed to be good, like Mike Yastrzemski and Alex Dickerson, playing like garbage, relative to their expectations, of course. And you have guys like Lamonte Wade coming out of nowhere, putting up an 830 OPS, because, we all saw Lamonte Wade coming out with an 830 OPS this year, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Noah had him. Then you have the pitching, and it's just this is you remember those 2013 Red Sox when they completely overperformed and won a World Series?
That's the Giants.
That's the 2021 San Francisco Giants.
Giants
a bunch
might be
of
a
veterans.
little bit crazier though.
Yeah, A++.
Yeah.
All right. That pretty much does it.
That only took 6 hours.
Yeah, fair enough. Going through 30 teams is a lot.
It is, isn't it? I don't think we really mapped that out correctly, but it's all good. We've only been live for an hour and 20 minutes.
On that note, though, it's bedtime for this writer who's got to get up tomorrow and get that power ranking ready to release around 1
Yeah, me too.
1 p.m.
Me
Eastern,
as well.
Up there.
1 p.m.
Eastern time, 12 p.m. Central time, 11 or 10 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Mountain time. I know my time zones.
And for those who want to read about the teams in the NL East, you might as well just scroll to the bottom and start from there. It'll be easier to find them.
If you're looking for
if you want to see the AL East, scroll to the top.
AL East and NL West, just stay near the top, folks. You'll get half.
Yeah.
Unless you want to see that team that's going to be in contention for the wild card, the Arizona Diamondbacks, you're gonna have to scroll pretty far for that one.
And you can keep knocking that one, but I also said the Giants would be a wild card threat, and they proved me pretty damn right.
I mean, to be fair, I said the Twins were going to win the division. I just like messing with you.
Yeah. I'm just a lot nicer and don't constantly bring up the Twins' failure.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm just a nice person
Aiden
who realizes you have enough pain right now from the Mets, so I don't really need to bring that up.
Yeah,
Hashtag lol Mets.
Let's go Mets, baby. Or sorry, should I be thumbs down, baby? Should we just like go like this? Side with both? Thumbs up, thumbs down? I don't know.
That's how I feel watching the Blue Jays lately. So
Yeah,
Pretty
well, it's how I've always felt watching the Mets. So
it's a fun existence we have.
yeah, yay, we have the lead. Yay, we blew the lead.
Yeah, that's the Jays for us.
Yay, Robbie Ray. Oh no, the bullpen. Speaking of which, Matt, since you'll care, did you see the lovely infield defense in the 9th inning when they dropped a pop up?
Who was it?
Every infielder.
I didn't even see it. I just saw Vladdy hit nukes.
They induced a pop up over the mound. Every infielder converged on the ball. Bo Bichette called for the ball, and then he tripped on the mound and fell. So no one caught it, and it dropped in between all four.
He's been much better defensively as of late, but
It dropped between all 4 infielders and Trent Thornton, the pitcher, who was camped under the ball to begin with and just didn't catch it.
dang it, Bo. At least they still won.
And it only cost them a run in the end, but it was Trent Thornton's run. So do you really feel that?
Yeah, I don't really care about him. If you cared about his ERA, he shouldn't have sucked this year.
Yeah, because that's how it works.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty good note to end it on, gentlemen.
Yeah. All right.
Everyone out there, thanks for watching the stream tonight. Remember Power Rankings tomorrow. Let us know your thoughts and comments when you see them. Follow us on Instagram, on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Give us those comments with your thoughts. Let us know how you think we're doing out here. And thanks for the views, guys.
Yeah, let's have a great month of September for baseball.
We're on TikTok too, right?
Yes, we are.
Follow us on TikTok.
Ooh, baby.
Yeah, if you follow us on TikTok, we might actually make more content. It's been a little while.
Yeah, it's getting nuts on TikTok. So
Busy summer for the boys, but things are quiet again a little bit.
But hey, who wants to see some live streams in the playoffs?
That's a dangerous game.
That's a dangerous game, but I mean, we're talking.
Those will be really long.
Yeah, but lots to talk about.
I don't think
I'll do it though.
I don't think I have the stamina for that.
All right, so if we hit Justin, what's your if we hit 50 subscribers on YouTube, Justin will stick around for a whole playoff game.
Oh, that's a tough scene for me.
All right,
you get 5,000 likes.
50 subscribers. Let's go.
You give me, you know what? 75 subscribers, I will stick for a full playoff game and drink a beer per inning. So each inning I will drink a beer.
All right, Matt, we're just gonna have to statistically analyze which of these games is gonna go 19 innings.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm gonna have to change that for the first 9 innings.
Nope. You already said it, Justin. But we apologize, but he's already said per inning.
This is my game, man. This is my punishment.
You already said it.
I think there should be some milestone goals for you too. I think you guys should have to drink with me.
I will. I don't care.
All right.
I'll drink shots of espresso.
We don't need to see you hyper.
Anyways.
Have a good night, everybody. Thanks
I have a great night all, and make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Let's get to 75 so that Justin has to join us for an entire playoff game. And don't worry, Justin.